Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be going over the 10x this weekend, getting you my thoughts on all the champions and if you should be pulling shards or not. And then we will also go over the Discord announcement, get you all caught up on the in-game stuff, and grade the offers for you so you are set for this weekend. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so first of all, I want to touch on the 10x because that is the summon event for this weekend. Do not take this video as the event being live. You don't want to pull your shards now. If you're going for the 10x, I've got the events tab pulled up because this summon rush starts in this clock that counts down. That's usually a pseudo countdown to when the 10x is going to begin. So you're going to want to wait for that clock to finish, and you're going to want to check your summoning portal, and then on the eye down here below, they will usually list the 10x champion so you can confirm that it's live before you pull your shards. So now I will briefly touch on the champions involved in the 10x and let you know my thoughts on them. Obviously, as we head into the middle of February, we're going to be doing a lot of Valentine's Day themed stuff. So a lot of the champions in this are going to be either like tandem ability things or kind of couples in the game in honor of Valentine's Day. So we'll start with Venus here. It's going to be Venus and Cupidus. But in terms of Venus, she's an incredible champion. She basically has a kit that does it all. The A1 is a multi-hitter with poison. And then champions that do this are very rare in terms of a 3-turn AoE, big defense, and big weekend break. Venus fills that role. It's like Venus, Draco, Lydia type champions that have that AoE big defense and weekend on the on a 3-turn cooldown. Then we've got the AoE HP burn. And then if you pair her with Cupidus, they got the tandem ability here where she can possibly grant an extra turn after doing buff strip, and then a really good HP to aura to boot, and then good base stats of 112 base speed most notably, and the 22k HP. Venus is an amazing champion to have on your account. She's good in tons of different areas. And then obviously her tandem is Cupidus. Cupidus has an AoE A1, so lots of cool things you can do, stun set, and different utility opportunities with him. And then the other thing that's most notably sticking out to me about him is this flame out ability can hit super hard. If you get the attack and the crit damage scaled up, that flame out will hit really hard. But all in all, Cupidus is mostly a pretty average legendary. Then for the next couple, we're going to move into Coronar and Manaya, kind of like a Beauty and the Beast type theme. But Coronar is a cool champion. I don't have him. I wish I did. Now, both Coronar and Manaya are semi-new champions that weren't released like with the game. They've come out since. But yeah, Coronar, similar to Cupidus, has an AoE A1 that can reduce turn meter. And then Manaya and Coronar do some really cool things together. Coronar's also got AoE provoke and AoE defense break and attack break, and then a passive here that increases defense when he gets a kill. Just lots of snowball opportunities, lots of utility for Coronar in different areas as well. So that leads us into Manaya. Manaya is a support that I just recently got. Haven't had a chance to test her a ton. She's all right. She does have a 19% speed aura in all battles, which is definitely cool. And in terms of being a healer, she's okay. She's got an interesting ability here that fills turn meter by 20% when she is killed. And then if she's with Coronar, it will revive her. That'll be on a 4-turn cooldown. So the 111 base speed, the decent base stats there. Yeah, Manaya, similar to Cupidus, seems like a pretty average legendary. And the next tandem is going to be Bellinor and Xavia, which is kind of interesting because it's high elf and dark elf. You wouldn't expect that to be a tandem, but the most notable thing about Bellinor is he can be pretty good in some clan boss compositions because right here, like I said, he fills that rare role where he can place both the big defense break and the big weaken on opponents. So that's the most notable thing about Bellinor. Then for Xavia, she's a cool champion. She's a good one to have on your account. She is a speed farm demon. She is super good at speed farming because she's got an AoE that can place multiple poisons, and then she can also do Deadly Catalyst here to blow up poison. So you get her paired with people that place poisons. She can blow it up with Deadly Catalyst, and great for nuking waves, similar to a seer type champion where if you get a team built around them, they can really speed farm certain areas of the game. Then we've got Romero and Juliana, which is obviously a play on Romeo and Juliet. Romero is all right. He's a pretty average epic. He can be a decent healer, placing continuous heals on different champions and shield. And as long as you get him with Juliana, he's got a triple hit AoE. So there's some interesting things you could do with Romero in the early to mid game, but he's mostly a pretty average epic. And then for Juliana, she is mainly an early to mid game clan boss DPS is kind of the main thing that she does in the game, because of the fact that she places the poison on the A2 and then the HP burn on the A3. So with her cooldowns, the way they are structured, it's hard to make her endgame viable in very many areas of the game. So she's mainly just kind of an early game clan boss DPS. Then for the last one here, we've got Phoenix and Talia. Phoenix does have an A1 here that can block a revive when it gets a kill, and he does actually hit surprisingly hard. He's also got the AoE that can block buffs and block cooldown skills, and that one that does at least get to a 4-turn cooldown. You can see that that's a lot better than like Juliana's abilities, where they're both 5-turn. Then we've got the one we can get to a 4-turn also, that places the 60% defense break and a decreased speed. So that could be good in certain boss fights or faction wars and stuff, where you can really prioritize and break the defense and the speed of an enemy. And then for Talia, definitely one of the cooler looking girls in the game aesthetically, but in terms of in-game stuff and utility, the rise to duty ability does actually hit surprisingly hard, but she's mostly a below average epic with not a good enough kit to really justify just being kind of a nuker with the stats that she has and the utility that she brings. So just to wrap up my thoughts on the 10X, it is Venus, Cupidus, Coronar, Manaya, Xavia, Bellinor, Juliana, Romero, Talia, and Phoenix. So there are some decent champions in there. Coronar, Venus, Xavia, Bellinor's good to have. There's some decent champions, but I'm gonna say hold off. The next two events are going to be Void and then Ancient. In the next 20 days or so, we're going to get both of those 2Xs. So I would hold off and wait for the 2X personally, because I don't see something ridiculous worth chasing to sacrifice the opportunity of the upcoming 2Xs. And then there was also an announcement from Raid here that I want to talk about a little bit and just provide some context really quickly. So first of all, posted by Valkyrie, one of the community managers there for Plarium. And the main thing here that is being said up at the top is they're going to be looking into kind of adjusting some of the bosses in the Doom Tower to try to take away some of the meme strategies where you can like solo bosses with one champion. They're going to be looking to try and adjust them to make the strategy is a little bit more varied, instead of needing like a very specific setup to beat them. And then if you have that, it's like super easy, but if you don't, it's ridiculously hard. So maybe what they're going to do is adjust that one mechanic to not work so easy, but then nerf the boss a little bit besides that to accommodate for that, so that you can have a little bit more varied options when it comes to tackling these bosses when you get up to the higher stages of hard, or if you're newer and getting up to the higher stages of normal where things get tough. So expect those bosses to be adjusted, and once we know exactly what those are, I will definitely keep you up to date. And then the bottom part is mainly talking about a fitting room. So basically you're going to be able to go into a fitting room and change your champion's artifacts, try out different builds for free, where it won't cost you the silver of swapping things around to try things out. You won't be able to test it in game. You won't be able to like put things on and go into a dungeon run and see how your time is adjusted. To use anything in game, you're gonna have to spend the silver of swapping. So that's not gonna be changed in terms of actually equipping and swapping gear that you can use in game, but there's going to be a separate mechanic where you can try stuff out and see the stats and see how it compares to the previous artifacts that you had on. So definitely a needed feature. Now obviously in all of the players' opinions, we wish they would just remove the silver cost, but that's never going to happen. Plarium has a pretty hard stance on adjusting the cost of moving gear around. That's a pretty hard coded design of the game, so they're not going to be doing that. So this is going to be their kind of compromise or meeting us in the middle in terms of giving us a way to at least compare builds and adjust our artifacts without having to spend all of that silver to do so. So unfortunately, it's still going to cost silver to move equipment around on your champions, but this will be a much needed compromise in terms of at least letting us try out builds and see the stats without having to spend all the silver to do so. So that is going to be launching within the next week or two, and I'm excited to try that out. I think it'll be a good addition to the game. Then really quickly, in terms of what's going on in the game, you've got about a day and a half left on the Dragon Tournament, where it is using only the champions in the top 4 factions, which is the Talarians. You can see here, Bannerlord, High Elves, Sacred Order, and Barbarians. You're going to have to use champions from only there, but I do recommend at least getting the Void Shard in that Dragon Tournament up here at the 2,050 points, because we are going to be getting 2x Voids launching in about 7 or 8 days. Then for events, remember the Summon Rush. We can't see it yet, but that's going to be coinciding with the 10x that we just covered. And then the Dungeon Divers will also be launching at the same time. And then most notably, you want to make sure and pay attention to the Artifact Enhancement event. You've got about a day and a half to make sure you scoop up at least the core hammers. And then besides that, unfortunately, there's no Void Shard, but definitely keep an eye on the events that are ending soon here. You've also got the Champion Training and the Dungeon Divers. On the Dungeon Divers, you don't get a Void Shard either. On the Champion Training, you want to get at least a 2,500 and get the core hammers. Past that, it's going to be quite a grind. I don't know if 11k is going to be worth really getting crazy for the one Void Shard payoff here. But remember, there are double voids coming up next weekend. Then we can pop into the shop and go over some of this stuff here. Oh, we're back to the chained offers, huh? Okay. Remember they were doing the ones with the five different offers with the crazy payout at the end. But okay, let's plug this one in here and see if this is worth doing. Seeing what the next one is. 800 G refill 6. Yeah, 1.32. Nope, that's an easy decision. Monthly pack is a 2.45. Mini mix. I missed the double mini mixes. Mega mix pack. Let's see. 50. And then we've got 350 gems. No silver. 5 days of XP. 160 brews. Okay, and then we've got 8 and 10 on the chicken. 8, 10, boom. 2.01. Okay. So yeah, it grades out basically as an all right, and so yeah, grades out basically right on the border of an excellent offer. Now, a chicken scales more towards the early to mid game players, people who maybe can't farm 12-3 in 7 or 8 seconds yet. The chicken's a lot more valuable for those type of players. So this is not an offer that I would be in the market personally, but I could see an early to mid game player being interested in this if they were looking to spend. And then div crit. $20 for 5-star gear, not gonna happen. So we could put that away and kind of wrap up here. Really quickly, just to remind you of the 10x, it's Venus, Cupidus, Coronar, Manaya, Zavia, Bellinor, Juliana, Romero, Talia, and Phoenix. But my general sentiment is wait for the 2x Voids and 2x Ancients coming up in the next 20 days to pull your shards. If you're asking my advice, that's the route I would go. But anyway, if you're watching this video right away, I'm going to get on over to stream where I'm playing on the new free-to-play conquest that I am heading off on. So if you want to come hang out and play some raid with me, a link to the stream is down below in a pinned comment, nice and easy to find. So that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.